Hello, everybody. It's Greg once again from the Sweet Spot. I'm going to do yet another video about my system, this time maybe with some more specifics of why I picked what I picked, more specific information about my system. Again, I have a full-blown home theater, but this is going to be concentrating on the two-channel part of my system because that is my first love was two-channel audio long before home theater ever came out. Again, I'm going to be turning 59 really soon, so I kind of grew up in the 70s realm of music as my go-to still. I like a lot of newer bands too, like Gomez. I like Beck a lot. There's a lot of modern artists that I like too, but I like jazz, blues, and rock are my primary go-to types of music. I like everything from Sade to Black Sabbath and kind of everything in between. Not a big classical or country or obviously an operatic type of person, but I just wanted to give you some more kind of a better look into my system and why I picked what I did. And I think I have some kind of unique features that I've incorporated. Again, I started all this in 1974, and I think I've finally gotten to a point where I'm really happy with everything I have and don't plan to change out anything. If something new comes down the pike, some kind of new way to listen to music, I'm always open to those things, such as MQA. So I was looking to new formats and things like that too. So let me go ahead and get started here. So I'll start up on top, and this is where it all started for me. Back in the day was albums. People call them vinyl now, however you want to refer to it. My first turntable was a BSR that I bought back in 1974. I got out of vinyl for quite a few years, but still hung on to my collection, and I'm really glad I did because I've gotten back into it more recently. I don't play a lot of vinyl, but sometimes it's just nice to kick back with some old familiar tunes, scratches, pops, ticks, and all. I don't mind that. Is it ideal? Of course not, but most of my albums I keep really clean and everything, so most of them still sound pretty good. So that's that. And then below that is my Mytek Brooklyn. Once again, this unfolds on QA. It sounds terrific. It has a phono preamp in it, so I actually have that Pro-Ject turntable connected to it. It's very flexible. All of its inputs will decode MQA. And again, I realize MQA is not everybody's cup of tea. Some people actually think it's snake oil and a money grab, and you're entitled to your opinion, of course, but I enjoy it. I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's night and day over non-MQA, and I'm not going to tell you that every file I've ever played has a distinct difference, but I'm also going to tell you that I believe in it myself personally. One of the neat features about this deck, and I'll see if I can do this real quick. MQA, as you can turn, or I'm sorry, that's the mute. Let me get over to the right. Okay, there we go. So it says MQA, enable, disable. Right now it's enabled. And let me push the right button so you can toggle. And I'll bet you can hear a slight difference between the two. I'll shut up for a minute. Well, that's not exactly the greatest part of the song to have you kind of see if you can tell a difference, but maybe I'll try that again a little bit later at the end of this. And my Oppo BDP 105 that I use for movies and CDs that I play occasionally, and I've also picked up recently through CD Japan some of these MQA CDs like Steely Dan. I'm a huge Steely Dan fan. So I have about 5 or 6 of those now. And below that is my Sony H8P Z1ES networked audio player. It plays DSD, up to 396. I have probably about 4,000 or so tracks loaded onto that, and I haven't even used half of the storage space on it. So it's a great little product there. I'm glad I got it. Then, not to be overlooked, is my power supply for the Brooklyn. Turn this down a little bit. That is the S-Booster linear power supply that I have plugged into empowering the MyTech Brooklyn. Actually the Brooklyn Plus, to be technical about it. But I have a lot of respect for Hans Beekhuizen. He seems to really know his stuff. I was watching one of his YouTube videos, and he highly recommended this, to at least to be checked out. So I bought it from a company that I could return it if I wasn't convinced it made a difference. And as you can see, I still have it. So I can, you can call BS on this if you want to. I heard a little bit of a difference at first, but then I've got probably about 150 hours on it. It's really opened up. Again, anything I say on here is just my opinion. You're free to think I'm an idiot or I'm hearing a placebo effect or whatever you want, but I'm also here to tell you that this thing has opened up with that amount of hours on it. So I run on QA. I don't use Artivana or any of those other things that have come out. I've tried them, but I don't know. I just don't feel the need. So I just have a plain old HP laptop that I run my MQA files off of. And there I've got that bigger screen up there. I'm not getting any younger, so the bigger screen up there. And also, if I'm watching movies or anything, or want to get into the GUI on my Marantz Pre-Pro that I use for home theater, it's a lot easier to see off of that screen. So everybody knows that your stereo is only going to sound as good as the room as it's in. So there's some acoustical treatments there. First side reflection, and then I have some behind the speakers, and then there's a soffit. There's a heating duct that runs through that, so I put some up above it too. And same thing on the other side. And then once again, my Aerial Acoustic 7Ts. I was very intrigued by these speakers. Had never heard them, had read so many good reviews about them, and I have a lot of respect for Michael Kelly, who was the chief designer of these. And I was going to make a nearly 400-mile drive just to go listen to them to see what the fuss was all about. And the pair came up on AudioGon, and I talked back and forth with the seller, and we agreed on a price, and I bought these sight unseen and sound unheard, and I gotta tell you, I love these speakers. It's really difficult to judge a speaker through a YouTube video. I mean, it's pretty obvious, but at the end of this, I'll try and give you a little bit of a demo without me talking. These two speakers, they're not the biggest speakers in the world. They're only 4 drivers. But when these things, they can project an image in this room like you wouldn't believe. It doesn't sound like music coming out of 2 boxes. It just fills the room, the front sound stage, very well. You can pick out instrument placement really well with these. It's like one of those things where it'll sound like the center channel. You would swear the center channel speaker is on when it's not. So yeah, I love these speakers. I can't ever imagine replacing them. Never say never, but that's just how I feel about them. If you ever get a chance and you're looking for a speaker in that range, in that price range, do yourself a favor and try and check them out if you can. So those are wired up to my Musical Fidelity mono blocks. I used to have a Macintosh amp that I really liked, but I was very intrigued by these as well. Got a really good deal on a demo pair with a full warranty, so I've Had these probably a little over a year now, and they're great. The specs on them are incredible. I use specs as a guideline, but not as a be-all, end-all. Um, to me, in the end, it's what it sounds like. All the numbers can say anything they want to say, but in the end, it's the sound that matters. These have an extremely low noise margin, or no, I mean, sorry, I'm thinking of work. That's the term I use at work. Noise floor. The signal to noise ratio on these, I want to say, is like 102 decibels. It's like crazy. I don't know if decibels is right. Maybe I said that wrong. And they use toroidal transformers, built like a tank. And I have them bi-wired. I have the MIT shotguns, and I also have Oracle cables connected to the back right there, as you can see. And then I don't know how well you can see, dark back there, but these Martin Logan sealed servo controlled have 3 8-inch drivers in them. The reason I went with sealed and servo controlled is I prefer that for music. For HT, I think the big portage with the 18s and all that is probably the better choice. They'll go lower and louder and provide more punch, but for music, I really prefer these. And they do fine for home theater. I know there's some guys that have the big 18s. I've seen guys with like 12 of them or something, and they literally can like shake wine glasses in the cabinet in the kitchen in another room, and that's really cool. But that's not what I was after. So that's those. Cool. One of the cool things about them is they have little access panels you can pop open and access everything. And again, I'm very obviously not a pro at this, so bear with me. So that's the top of those things. I do have 2 more Martin Logan sealed servo controlled subs in the back of the room that I use when I turn the home theater on for a little extra punch. They're also sealed and servo controlled, but they're the bigger ones. These are the, I want to say the depth eye. The ones in the back are the descent eye. Those have 3 10s in them with 750 watts. I think each driver has its own dedicated 250 watt Class D amp running to it. So just to stand back and give you a little perspective. Again, obviously, I'm very amateurish at this, so bear with me. And then I'm going to have to run into the other room to show you where all the magic is coming from here. Everything is fed from that MyTech through that racetrack at the bottom along the baseboard there. And it's fed into another room back there. So let me go show you that. So this is my more recently purchased Balanced Audio Technology VK33 tube preamp. I've always wanted to try a tube preamp. I think to me the combination of tubes and the preamp gives it a nice warmth to the sound. I really like this preamp. I did try hooking up the MyTech Brooklyn directly to those musical fidelity amps and bypass this, and I mean, it's not even in the same class. I don't know. I don't pretend to know a whole lot about why tubes sound like they do. I'm sure there's others who know a lot more than I do. And I know there's people who just don't care for tubes. You have to replace them. Maybe they can run really hot, which is the reason why I have that exhaust fan sitting on top of it, and that exhaust fan blows out the back, not out the top. That's why I have another component sitting on top of it. But I have the volume on this fixed, and I control the volume from that MyTech Brooklyn out in front. But this thing it sounds incredible. Like I said, I had to see what it was like when I took that out of the loop, and it was shocking the difference between having this in the loop and not. Just I don't know, I'm going to use a term like musicality. I don't know, that's the best way I can describe it, I guess. It sounded more like real music, and it opened up the spaciousness and all that other fun stuff. So let me go back in the other room and give you a quick little listening session. Again, I know it's not the same. It'd be foolish to say, well, you know how something sounds hanging over a YouTube video. So, but I'll give it a shot anyway. So that's David Crosby doing She's Gotta Be Somewhere. Kind of sounds very Steely Dan-esque to me. It's kind of cool. But anyway, I'll end it there. I just wanted to, I guess you could say, show off my system. I see so many guys out there with their cool systems, and I know I've done some before, obviously, but wanted to do it again, and I hope you guys enjoy what you have, and we all learn from each other, right? So if you guys have any questions or anything, any comments, chime in. That's what we're all here for, I hope. You guys take it easy.